Hey everyone, welcome back to Aliens on Toast Gaming, and we have some exciting news in the IL community, and that is the reveal of more information about the Hypoendocrin Spinosaurus. So we've already seen the Hypo-Rex, we already know what it can do, and now we're getting some more info about the largest carnivore in the isle. So in November last year, we got some info about the Spino, which included the dossier that you just saw and the 3D model of the Spino. Textureless, but just what it will look like in-game. And we got to see that, yes, it looks like the Spino. It's beefier, it's burlier, it's got tusks at the front, it's got spines sticking out the side. And it did look like the Hypo-Rex in some aspects. It's still got that armor plating and everything like that. But apart from this 3D model and the dossier itself, there wasn't that much info. There was no written information about it. There was nothing really revealed about how this guy's going to move or, walk around, how he's going to attack things. There were things rumored, such as being able to swallow dinosaurs whole, but we hadn't seen that in action. But Dondi, one of the devs, have revealed how this guy will be in-game. There's been a stream just of the development process. First off, we're going to show how big this frickin' carnivore is. Now, the Hypo is slightly shorter than the Rex at head height. However, with that massive sail on its back, that means the Hypo is now the largest carnivore in the game, and will probably be the largest carnivore ever to be in the game. So this guy is impressive. He's freaking large. Not only that, but he looks like he could possibly take on a Rex, which, as you probably know, the Spino cannot do that at the moment. But maybe the Hypo Spino is going to be the beefier, burlier version of the two. I know that the Hypoendocrine Rex is supposed to be a brawler, but maybe the scales have tilted in the favor of the Spino in this regard. I'm not sure. This is all speculation at this point. But it's cool to see how the Spino tips up against the Rex and how big this monster actually is. We also got to see some kind of hints as to how this guy is going to move. So we got to see his running animation, which is actually really cool because it's got an asymmetrical run. Now, I'm not sure if this is because the Spino will be limping or what the devs plan on having the Spino do, whether this is its translation from crouch to running. But the Spino's run includes a little trip, or I think a little touch is what it's got written down in the bottom right corner, which is kind of interesting. No other dinosaur has this kind of asymmetry in their run. It's very interesting indeed. Now, another thing to point out with the run is the fact that this guy looks like he can move pretty fast. So the Hypo-Rex can move pretty fast, as you're probably aware, but it kind of lumbers along. It's like throws its weight. But the Hypo Spino looks like it can frickin' move. This guy is a bowling ball of power rushing towards anything that's stupid enough to get in its way. Another thing we can really clearly see with this running animation too is the fact that the Spino has a very thick, muscular tail, and I'm not sure if that is for defense in the end. It isn't implemented yet. No dinosaur has a defensive side or an offensive side, apart from the teeth. Avoid the teeth. But maybe the large tail is going to help with the Hypo Spino's swimming. I'm not 100% sure of that. I think it could have something to do with maybe fishing. Maybe what you'll do is kind of similar to how dolphins hunt for food, whether you'll slap that tail down and stun some fish and able to catch more than one at once, or maybe you do that to smaller dinosaurs. It was revealed a long time ago that the Hypo Spino would be able to swallow anything smaller than a subadult Rex in one go. So dinos are going to want to scramble to get out of this thing's way. This thing is huge, this thing is a monster, and this thing is going to pack a massive punch. I mean, if you saw this running from out of the forest, you would want to head in the opposite direction. There is no way I would want to stick around to see this guy in action. I would be clearing out of there as fast as I could. Another thing we got to saw is the standard walk for this guy. Now, this is something that I don't think was revealed straight away for the Hypo-Rex. We had to kind of wait till it was in-game to see that. But it's nice to see this guy kind of walking around, how he's going to look when he's just prowling the savannas looking for food, or maybe prowling the waterways. It'll be quite interesting to see. But it's cool to see how this guy's going to shift his weight around, how he is going to be bipedal. He's not quadruped for the Hypo version of him. That was a rumor that was spreading around the community a little while ago, but it's good to see this guy is going to remain a bipedal dinosaur. Another thing we got to see is the crouching for the Spino. So the Spino does go on all fours when it's crouching, and I think this is kind of cool because it shows that he is keeping a low profile. He kind of crouches like a lioness or a tiger crouching through like the long grasses. This guy knows what he's doing. He's keeping that silhouette down. He's muffling the sounds of his footsteps and putting as much weight on all fours as possible, which is kind of cool. It's kind of cool to see the devs applying some real-world stalking animation to the dinosaurs. I'm not sure if that was intentional or whether it's just a cool coincidence, but it is nice to see. Another thing that's really cool is that this guy does look like he's kind of comfortable on all fours, so I'm not sure if maybe there will be a quadrupedal version eventually, but because it doesn't look like he struggles to stay on all fours. But, you know, who knows. We also got to see how this guy's idol will look, and it's pretty much stock standard. It looks like how you would expect the idol to look. He kind of just stands there breathing. There's not much more to it, but it's cool to see how much info was just released in one go. And probably the most important part about the Spino's release was seeing this guy raw. Now, something I wasn't aware of, and I'm sure there were other people that were aware of, but the fact that the Spino isn't just a regular dinosaur. It isn't just the standard Rex or the standard, even the standard Spino model. Looking at that jaw, you can tell this thing is a monster. It is a beast. It is not a natural creation. Watching that jaw split open so it can scoop up dinosaurs and just swallow them whole is going to be freaking terrifying. And I'm so excited to see this guy in game. Either way, it should be fun to see this guy roar. We haven't heard what he sounds like. We can kind of imagine, I'm thinking they're going to keep along the same sort of lines as the HYPO did, where they're going to make it sound kind of mechanical, not mechanical, but like whale-esque, where it's got this kind of large, reverberating, almost sonar sound to it underneath the already impressive Rex sound. And I'm wondering if that would fit with the current Spino wind tunnel screech that they've got going on at the moment. It is a nice sound when you're playing as a Spino, when you're walking through the forest, and you just screech at the top of your lungs, and you can hear dinosaurs fleeing in the opposite direction. I like that. It's a terrifying sound to hear in the middle of the night when you're playing as something like a Diablo or a Dryo or even a Maya to some extent. It's just, yeah, I hope they continue that theme. But it's nice to see some more information popping up about the above apex predators. I'm excited to see what happens with this guy. I'm excited to see him in game. Some early access gameplay would be really nice to see. But, you know, this is all we can do with what we've got at the moment, and speculation is abound. So I'm excited, I'm looking forward to it, and I hope you guys are too. And I will see you guys in the next episode of Aliens on Toast Gaming. Thank you very much for watching, and bye-bye!